19th, 2015, and we'll be talking to David, formerly from YOUmedia Miami, about his resource, Preparing Your Teens to Act as Press. I'm Julie Kozlowski from YOUmedia at Chicago Public Library. We'll also be joined by Trisha George from YOUmedia at Hartford Public Library. To give you some context, this webinar series is to showcase the projects that were created during the YOUmedia Learning Lab Network Resource Development Retreat in August of 2015. 19 members from the YOUmedia Network gathered to create resources, and they're being shared on the community of practice and through these mini webinars. Trisha, can you take it away?
Absolutely. Hey, David. Good to see you. So I guess my first question is, why do you think it's important for young people to be involved in kind of event-based media production?
Well, back at YOUmedia Miami, we really like to focus on the teens to kind of like get involved with the community, because they're always talking about like, oh, this sucks and I don't like this about our community, but they never try anything to kind of like better it. So we thought what a really great way was to like kind of send them into the community itself and kind of see firsthand what they can do to help out their community, and you might as well make them or let them use the skills they're learning in YOUmedia as the kind of like the driving force to do that.
Awesome. So can you describe the resource in a little bit of detail?
Sure. So for 2 years in a row, YOUmedia Miami was invited to go to a local music festival called Jazz in the Gardens to cover it as press, and we had to train our teens how to kind of put their minds in the right mindset, to be able to go out and act professionally in front of stars that they watch on TV or hear on the radio, or streaming services in this case. So we set them down and kind of over the course of like a week or two had a crash course on journalism, video production, editing, audio gear, and I thought, why just limit this to kind of our teens here in YOUmedia Miami when we can kind of like show our process to everyone else, and anyone can adapt it as well.
Awesome. So I noticed that the resource has 3 parts, kind of preparing your teens, going through the process of getting a press release, and then you actually have a note to parents,
yep,
which is maybe the only note to parents that exists in the resource bank right now. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So back at YOUmedia Miami, we really encouraged the parents to be part of our teens' learning experience. They might have not been able to be in the space themselves, but we always asked them or told them that they can come and ask questions or call us and inquire about what their teens are doing. So when we knew that we were going to be taking teens out on a weekend to a giant music festival where they might not get home like out until like 1 in the morning, we thought, you know what, let's let the parents know and show them how not only get their permission, but also like show them how great of an opportunity this is. So we wrote out that letter, and then thought it could be useful to anybody else who wants to take their teens out to any event, not just press sites, but like a field trip or anything like that.
I love how both the teen note and the parent note start with the word congratulations.
Yeah.
Lead in, your kid's awesome. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. That was our former teen librarian's decision. She wrote the initial draft of the note, and she thought a big positive message right up front is a big help to make the parent go, yeah, I'm gonna let my kid do this.
That's awesome. It's a great spin on permission slips. So the other 2 parts, the process for going through getting a press pass, do you know if that's the same across all places in the U.S. or the world?
Yeah, so it's it varies a little per event and per organization. I did mention that in the resource, but for the most part, a lot of the basics are the same. You'll generally need the same information. The the same contact info is generally like press@website.com or contact@website.com. It's all, a lot of these things are kind of uniform across a bunch of places. So yeah, it's really close with maybe some slight differences.
Okay. And I guess the last part that we haven't talked too much about is the preparation part, which is probably pretty huge. I mean, you're sending teens out into a giant crowd of people. Presumably there's more than one of them and only one of you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you approach, I guess, writing down a preparation process that's maybe a little difficult to put into words?
Yeah, that was actually probably my biggest hurdle, writing that down. But I think I did a pretty good job. The idea I kind of put forth up there to when adapting this was make it really general in a sense that anyone can read it in plain English and kind of understand exactly what they needed to do, and then kind of delegate certain aspects of it to people who would be more experienced with that. So like there's a whole section in there about kind of the process of the production training, and while anyone can read and understand that here's the steps you need to take, a video producer, like the video producer mentor or specialist in a space in any of the media spaces, could read that and go, all right, I'm gonna do it this way specifically because I know that our teens are receptive to this and already understand these parts of the video production aspect. And same goes for all the other parts, the journalism aspect, the just the professionalism, like thing you got to put on to talk to actual real press people. Yeah. So.
How did your teens respond to the opportunity?
They were very excited, in fact. They had mentioned that it might happen early on, and instantly they were all ready to sign up. Like, here, I want to join in, I want to join in. And then once we gave them the confirmation that it was actually happening, elated. And they tried really hard because they to brush up their skills because they really wanted to go, which I guess just goes to show that the teens will work hard for anything as long as they really enjoy it. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions I have, Julie. David?
Thank you.
Yeah, I just had one more. So in your document, you talk a little bit about approaching a particular event and asking them if you could be a part of the press at that event. Can you talk a little bit more about that, having teens at an event who haven't done that kind of press before, and how the event sort of sees that, and if you have tips about particular types of events that you think this might work better at than others?
Right. So yeah, mentioning to the press contact that, hey, we want to take a bunch of teenagers to your event and try to be professional might kind of like seem a little weird at first, but I guess the key to that is to kind of just be honest up front, and mention that, hey, we're teaching these teens how to do this stuff. It'd be great to give them hands-on experience. Is there something we can set up to make this happen? And also, kind of a good place to start is, instead of going for like the really huge like events that are like kind of broadcast across the world, like like the iHeartRadio Festival or any other music festival, like Bonnaroo and all that stuff. It's better to go to kind of like local, smaller events, local comic book conventions, local music festivals, smaller concerts that maybe local artists are just putting on their own concert. All that kind of stuff is a great way to kind of build up that resume almost. And then once you hit, like, they're more trained and hands-on, you can go up to a bigger press event and be like, hey, we covered press for these people here. We want to cover yours next. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Any other questions or anything else you want to say about your resource?
I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool resource. I had fun writing it, and I hope people can find some use for it. It'd be great to kind of see teens all over the country kind of just like going out and making their own cool videos about their favorite events.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what other people in the network do with your resource and what kind of events it opens up for their teens. So thank you so much for creating.
Well, thank you for reading it, I suppose.
Yeah, and anyone who's interested in looking at David's resource, it will be linked to this video, and you can also find it at community.youmedia.org in the resource section of our community of practice. So thank you so much for taking some time out to talk about this resource.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.